Hi, today we're going to take a look at the design import capabilities of Volt MX Go. Like the name implies, design import lets you take a Domino application and bring it into Volt MX Go, saving you a lot of time and resources that compared to creating the application from scratch. Design import takes a Domino application and reads it in through the Domino REST API to retrieve design elements from the app, including forms, views, and agents. You'll be able to select the forms and fields that you want to be imported, and then it'll build those forms views within Volt Iris and make them actionable against the object services in the Domino adapter. Let's take a look as Matt Muncy brings us through how design import works.
So this application is a basic application in Notes. It has a couple views by name, by region, all the context that we have here. We want to go ahead and we want to import this application through Iris into Foundry. So I've created a project called Big Oak Demo. Looking at our Foundry server, we don't have that application here, but that will be created for us by the import wizard. When we go into Project, Import a Domino application in Notes or in Windows here, we get the import wizard for the design import. We'll go ahead and click Next. We're going to create a new application. So this will create a new application on Foundry. So if we look at Foundry again and refresh this screen, we now see that we have a Big Oak demo app here. Looking at this is empty. It's kind of an envelope that we'll put everything into and build the application through a progression of the wizard. We'll go ahead and click Next, and we're creating a new identity service. So I'll go ahead and copy the URL to our Domino REST API server, and I'll put in the scope of Big Oak Demo, and I'll get the app ID and the app secret of this application. So the application ID and the application secret are found on the Domino Domino REST API console. I'll show you that here in a moment. We're going to call this Big Oak Demo as the service name and go ahead and click Next there. So looking at the Domino REST API, if we click down here in Applications, this is the home page and the applications. We can find our applications. I've created an application called Big Oak Demo. Here's the application ID, and we can generate a secret here as well. That's where that's obtained from. So looking back here, we're publishing this application now in the wizard. So if we go back to Foundry, we can see that these things were populated inside the Big Oak demo. If I refresh this now again, I see I now have an identity service, which has authorization endpoint, token endpoint, our scope set, our client ID, and our secret. We can do a test login here to make sure that that works. When we see that coming back, the response has a bearer token, so we are properly authenticating there. We also see that we have some integration endpoints that are used in getting the design of the database. Back in Iris Wizard, it selects for us the identity service that we've created. We'll go ahead and click Next there. And when we initialize that application, we're prompted with a login screen for our Domino credentials. So we'll log into that. And once that's logged in, we're prompted again for the Foundry App Identity Service. So this is the identity service that we're going to use in the application when the user logs in. So we're going to select the one that we've built there for the Domino REST API and click Next. This will give us a list of scopes. We define one scope to be selectable, which is the Big Oak demo. We have the forms here, and we can see all of the different fields inside of that form that we've selected. We have the views as well, that we can select different views and what we have as far as actions inside of those particular views. Also the agents that we have that we want to import. We'll go ahead and click Next to see a summary screen of everything that we have selected, and then go ahead and build the Iris application. So when we build this application, what we're doing is we're actually creating an object service from the wizard and from Iris here in the work that we've done with design import. We are uploading that to the Foundry application, and then we're publishing that in Foundry. Once that's complete, we come back and we pull that information down from Foundry, knowing that we have a successful integration with Foundry and Domino, and we build our forms and views dynamically off of what we've created inside of Foundry. So looking at Foundry, if we again go over here to the objects now, we now have objects that have been built. And so these are all of the data models that we've created and the mappings that correspond to that particular data model. So this has all been built now in Foundry, and we're retrieving that information in Iris and populating it. So once we've published that in Foundry, we import the components. We generate the forms and views, again, pulling back down from Foundry to see what we've actually created. And we're building those forms and views for you and tying them together based on navigation through a dashboard that we're creating for a simplistic view of how to navigate around inside of the application. Again, all of these things can be modified. We're building a construct of what the application is and how to navigate around through it, and completely configuring that to communicate directly with the Domino application through Foundry. So we're doing all that back-end work for you. We see here that we have imported all these things successfully, and we go ahead and click Done. We're presented with a storyboard representation of everything that we have there. We've built a login screen for you dynamically, as well as a dashboard, and we're able to see the grid views that we have. We have the forms there for what we're going to go ahead and enter that information that's been built for you. You can also look at this information in the Design tab. And so looking at, for example, the dashboard that we've built, there it is for you that we've put together for you to navigate around in the application. If we wanted to go ahead and create a comment, this is what that form looks like that we've built for you as well. We can go ahead and do a build to run a live preview of this. So we'll go ahead and run a live preview of this application just to take a look and see what it is that we've built. So once we go ahead and build this, it does pop up a preview screen. I'd much rather look at it in a browser. So once that preview screen pops up, I usually go ahead and close it. And we're able to look at what it is in the browser. So this is the preview screen that I'll close, and I'll click on the console tab here, where we are presented with the URL that we can look at in a browser. So in the browser, we go ahead and log in with our Domino credentials, and we successfully logged in. And so, for example, here's all of our contacts. So let's say Bob Arns here. If we're looking at the view in Notes, we have the same contacts here. There's Bob Arns. If I come in here and I edit that, let's take Bob Arns' name and change him to Bob Smith. So I come in here and I edit Bob Arns to Bob Smith, and I save this. If I come back to the dashboard and look at the contacts again, we pull that back, we have Bob Smith. Looking at it over here in the Notes client, if I refresh this, now that has moved from Bob Arns to Bob Smith. So we're communicating back and forth directly with the application. A couple other views that we have on the dashboard is, for example, if we have a new customer, this is the form that inputs all the information for the new customer, all of his data there. We also have comments and the entry points for those comments. These up here also are the actions that are actually inside of the form that we have in Notes. So looking in Notes, if we were to create a comment, we have close and save and close. Those have been pulled in here as well. We've got some other ones that we added. So if we go ahead and close this form, it does close it and closes the application, and we go back to the login. So the actions inside of the forms are also available and to be used, and they're pulled into the application. If we go back to Iris and look at that as well, we can see here, if we highlight that close button, and look at the properties of that. We can look at the action that's actually done there. If we read that on click, we added formula. So there was formula that actually did that close. Looking at the formula, this is the formula was add command close window. We've transposed that through the Rosetta APIs to the actual JavaScript here. We'll go into that in another demo here in the future, but all of this is working. We imported this application from Domino, and we have a successful import of the constructs for this application into Iris. So looking back at the application, let's go to the login form here and update this to be more reprehensible to what the golf course looks like. So if we go to the properties, we can choose a skin here, and we're going to go from single color to an image. We'll choose an image that we have for the default view of a golf. And now we have a golf in the background. We'll get rid of this icon with a delete, and we'll change this button to be a different color here rather than blue, but make it more of a green. And that way we're able to kind of see a better commercially available application that we have. This is our new login screen. Very simple to update these things.
Hopefully that gave you a good idea of what's possible with a design import and how it could help you with your own applications. Please be sure to check out our hosted free trial where you can try out Volt MX Go for free, as well as our webinar series that includes a deeper dive into design import. Thank you.